Hi, my name is Marissa Feinberg. Thanks so much for your interest in the mycelium. I'm going to record a live video for you right now to walk you through the program. And if you have any questions, please feel free to book a consult with me. If you're in New York, I hope you're faring well on this very hot day. So, welcome and introducing the mycelium, a thought leadership accelerator for leaders in consciousness, climate, and mental health. This is our new program to catalyze the visionary voices, guiding humanity through this crisis, healing, and period of global transformation. So, like I said, my name is Marissa, and I've been helping conscious leaders take their thought leadership to the next level to grow awareness, connections, and impact for results. And I've been doing this work for nearly 20 years. So I've helped values-aligned entrepreneurs, executives, and teams often grow from idea to inception to leading brands. I've done this for my own startups. I've done this for clients. And while when people think of thought leadership, sometimes they think of, oh, let's get your headshot, right? But this is really about core strategies that align with the awareness and growth of the work that you're doing. Overall, we raise awareness about your work, we raise consciousness, and we also grow your impact and results together. So the typical strategies, and I work with people to help you hone in on this, sometimes it's about defining your bold and timely differentiators. So for example, I most recently served as fractional PR and brand director for Nushama Wellness, and I helped them go from idea to inception to leading brand. And we had gotten them a nice amount of coverage. We'd gotten them a New York Times feature. But when we honed in on their differentiators, that they are the largest psychedelic wellness center in the Western world, with the nation's top ketamine therapy doctor, with the leading medical team having performed more than 10,000 ketamine infusions. And that was a really great point where we cut past the noise and we were able to do even more stories like Good Morning America. So in just 2 years, we earned more than 200 media stories. And sometimes it's just honing in on these pieces that can really set you apart. Building and educating your new market. I've been grateful to do this time and time again and be part of new and emerging movements and trends. From, the co-working days, having co-founded Green Spaces New York in '08, which was acquired, it became part of the Global Impact Hub NYC network. And there were a number of us who were founders and communicators really building that space. I did it before that with the Design for Social Innovation space that just became more broadly known as social innovation. And then also in regeneration, I worked with an early CEO in that space and helped get their company on Fast Company's most innovative company list in 2020. And now psychedelic therapy and ketamine therapy, part of a group of key people in this country and around the world who are really spreading the word with good communications about the opportunity for people to heal with these medicines. So there's a constant education formula, constant growing of the market when you're creating something new and people don't really know that they need it. So you need to educate the market and create that demand. And I'd love to support you in doing that. And sometimes it's building a new intersectional ecosystem. So, with this nonprofit that I'm now leading as well, called Psychedelics for Climate Action, we have helped message to convene and bridge these psychedelic and climate communities. For example, for the psychedelic community, we say psychedelics can inspire a profound oneness with all life, a remembering we are nature. Join our mission to transform this awareness into meaningful climate action. And for the climate community, we pose the question that with countless solutions available, why are we in this crisis? Clearly participation is the problem, and at the root of that is a consciousness shift. So maybe you're doing something really interesting, convening and bridging two spaces, and we could help you hone in on that. So once we figure out your strategy, then we have weekly coaching in this accelerator to help advise you on these next steps and strategies. So whether you want to do more thought leadership, publishing, podcasts, speaking, do you want to be quoted in the media or do you want to create your own owned media like a Substack, or are you writing a book? These are some things that we can help advise you on. How to accelerate this sort of work with AI in an ethical and efficient manner. We're actually talking to a platform right now that has an ecological approach to AI that integrates ChatGPT and Gemini and others. So this way we can actually walk the walk of using AI in this way. And then we encourage people to use it sparingly. For example, there are all kinds of tricks if you are someone who gives talks or wants to be interviewed. I could coach you on how to do that, and you could take your transcript and use ChatGPT to help you make a quick blog post. So those are some interesting ways that we can work together. Polycrisis positioning, metacrisis, right now there's so much shifting. And if you're doing work in climate, consciousness, mental health, or any of these adjacent fields, you're so relevant. And it's just about expressing that and connecting the dots for people so that they see you as part of their story. So we can help you hone in on that. And look at your overall PR strategy. How do you want to engage the media for awareness or other kinds of key audiences, key stakeholders? And then how do you use that messaging across your materials, whether it's pitch decks or your website or your social media? We'll go into all of that. And then, we have a lot of relationships in our organization, and then me as a personally with this network. Having done 200 stories for New Shama recently, 100 about Psycha, coming from a deep background in environmental social impact and knowing and having relationships, a lot of these major outlets in that space. I would love to support people in this cohort in making some of these connections. So we really want to catalyze that impact. And then, there might also be some places where we don't have relationships, and then I can teach you how to pitch. And we also have a tier where we do that for you. Um, and then we also do a lot of live events and news sharing opportunities. So we have an email list of about 13,000 people. We frequently convene events in New York with, anywhere from something intimate to something larger scale with 200 or 300 people. And we have things coming up for Climate Week. So it's a great time to get involved. Our Climate Week themes are going to be climate, consciousness, and mental health. So we definitely want to showcase the people in this cohort. So if you're not sure if this is for you, schedule a consult with me. There's lots of these links here to do so, but it's going to be a really incredible group that I can't wait to tell you about. The cohort is nearly full. We have just a few spots left. I've worked with people over the years and had some great success stories from the doctor I was telling you about, who is now positioned as one of the leading ketamine therapy doctors in the country. This is someone who took a course with me on the left deal, helped with her whole strategy, and she did the execution herself. And then her startup raised $10 million and was later acquired from this momentum that they created as part of what made them successful and built that awareness. So there's other testimonials here that you can browse. It's a weekly coaching cohort with recommending starting with 6 months. You can start and you can finish anytime. Like if you feel like the coaching program is not necessarily a fit for you, or if your schedule changes, it's fine. But I believe that people will get so much value out of this program, even in just 1 month, with all of these thought leadership pieces that are a priority that maybe you have been wanting to make a priority, or maybe you want to up level your thought leadership. We have someone in our cohort who's, say, written for the New York Times, for example, but he wants to do even more. So this is really good for people at different stages. Maybe you're someone who does a fair amount of thought leadership and wants to get to that next level. Maybe you want to do TV. Maybe you want to do more speaking. And so it also is good for some people who are just getting started and reviewing some of the foundations and some of the basics. And people will learn from each other. Someone at a later stage might want to refresh on some of the initial foundational work, and someone doing the foundational work might be really inspired by someone who's at a later stage. So it's a really nice group of people at different stages with some coherence involved. So, and we'll meet every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. We'll have weekly live coaching. The first 10 minutes or so will be a lesson of the week, and then everyone in the cohort will get individualized attention and set their goals and accountability for that week. And then on Fridays, we have a co-working block for people who want to join and co-work together. And that's your block of execution time to come together, get the work done, ask questions. We're here as a resource for you in community. We might even bring in some guest experts. So with this structure, you have learning, coaching, and execution time all built in to move you forward. So we've got 3 different tiers available. Most people are signing up for the Tier 1 SPORE program. That is our core program. It's $500 a month. You can also pay up front and save for 6 months and save $500. And that's for people who are really good self-starters, who have some support, or who want to make the time and space to do this work themselves. We have all kinds of frameworks we support you with, templates and tools. And, you have the optional Friday co-working. The following two tiers are for tier two is if people want to do more extensive media outreach instead of a few strategic people and intros, and we can create custom media lists for you. And that just requires some help from and support from our junior team, and they're really excited to meet you. And then the tier three canopy is for people who really want support with that execution, right? You get 10 hours of junior team support members, time per month with my oversight. We can help you get to that next level. We can do the pitching for you, set up those interviews. Or if there's something else that you need support with, maybe you want to do more thought leadership videos and content. And so, it comes with a limited amount of time. And so this way, we help catalyze people and move forward. Occasionally someone comes up and would like to instead work more intensely with me and our team and do a bigger push. And so I'm also open to chatting about that. And that might be through the consultancy that I have. It's a communications consultancy called Triple Bottom Y, which is just separate from this nonprofit accelerator. And so I'd be happy to share more and explain the details about that if you book a consult. And here's a little bit more about me. So, I've been doing this work for many years. Here's a link to my full bio and story. I'm excited to get to know anyone who's interested in this, who wants to explore the potential of how they can further their thought leadership goals and therefore further their overall awareness, impact, results, and how that is all connected. So please feel free to reach out. Like I said, we've got just a few more spots and would love to welcome anyone this resonates with or explore if someone has questions. Thank you so much.